Hey, Pastor, doesn't science disprove the Bible?
Isn't Genesis just a fairy tale?
Is God for real? Did he really create everything in 6 literal days?
Didn't God just use the Big Bang?
Why is there death and suffering? Really believe the Bible?
Didn't man evolve from apes?
For answers to these questions and more, stand by for Believing the Bible.
Welcome to Believing the Bible. This is Scott Lane with Terry Reed, Dr. Ken Harris, Dr. Carl Williams, and our producer Jeremiah Rosenthal, all with the San Antonio Bible-Based Science Association. We are here to assure you that you can believe the Bible from the very first verse. In today's program, what we'd like to do is give you a survey of the biblical creation associations and some non-biblical creation associations that you can access and that are give just a wealth of information about this whole topic. Probably the leader in this group is Answers in Genesis. AIG can be found at their website at answersingenesis.org. 40 miles apart from each other, they have 2 great facilities in northern Kentucky. The Ark Encounter, a full-size reproduction of the Ark with many other attractions there, and a creation museum with a planetarium. The Ark Encounter is at Williamstown, Kentucky. The Creation Museum is in Petersburg, Kentucky, both in North Kentucky, just south of Cincinnati, Ohio. The leader, of course, is Ken Ham. Every time I see Ken, he reminds me of Moses out of the movie. They have a wealth of speakers, a store. You can get tickets to any of these things. They have Answers TV now and a homeschool curriculum. There's just a wealth to be there, and we would recommend it. Another group that we deal with all the time here, which is not as big as Answers in Genesis, is the Alpha Omega Institute. They can be found at discovercreation.org. One of the real benefits to their website is, yes, they have a store and they have speakers available. Incidentally, they have speakers available which will come to you with no preset fee. While Answers in Genesis people are rather expensive to get, you can get Alpha Omega people for a relatively low cost. But the interesting thing about their website is, in addition to the store and their tours and everything else that they do, is that they have a search engine which not only searches their website for answers to creation question, but searches the websites of ICR.org and Answers in Genesis and CMI, to where you have just a wealth of information available there if you have a question on creation. That leads us to ICR, the Institute for Creation Research, ICR.org. They not only are the leading research group for creation research in the country, they now have a $33+ million Discovery Center or Creation Museum. That's at 1830 Royal Lane in Dallas. If you want to explore that, go to discovercenter.icr.org. We once had the current head of ICR, Dr. Randy Galuza, on our board here with SABSA. He and his wife, June, are up there and doing a great job of leading them into the future. You have a large amount of things, including a store and other things available online there. But their Acts and Facts newsletter, which they send out now about 10 times a year, is free, and you can get it online with them, as well as Days of Praise and so many other things that they offer there. Guys, what are your thoughts about those 3 organizations? AIG, AOI, and ICR.
One thing I like about ICR are the podcast. I listen to those faithfully, and they're always so informative. I love those.
But you see, that's the point. There is a wealth of different types of things, blogs, podcasts, information, answers to questions, things you can order that's available on all of these. Another group that's relatively new over the past 20 years has been the Logos Research Associates. And they are at logosresearchassociates.org. This has people who are combining together and collaborating together to do creation research and to spread the word. You have such names as Dr. John Sanford. Their president is Jay Siegert, who we've had on radio here at Believing the Bible. They have associates all over the place, Dr. Dan Biddle, Dr. Jerry Bergman, Dr. Matthew Sherhati, which used to be a member of our group here in San Antonio. Dr. Russell Humphreys, Dr. Andy McIntosh, who we've sponsored, and Spike Basaris. If you go to their website, they have live streams and products called Creation Evolution Headlines, which are news articles. Again, that's at logosresearchassociates.org.
That's not to be confused with
BioLogos, which we are going to cover because you need to protect yourself when you start talking about that. Another large creation group is Creation Ministries International. CMI, which you can be found at the very simple website, creation.com. They have a U.S. office in Atlanta, but they also have offices in Australia, which is where they started, the United Kingdom, New Zealand, and other places in the world. They have a great store. They have speakers. We've had Dr. Rob Carter down here on occasion, Joel Tay, and others. They have high school curriculum and homeschool curriculum. They have a media center, a search engine, which I alluded to earlier, podcasts, a creation magazine, and a journal of creation, which I read from on a regular basis. That's really what keeps me up to date in terms of this. Guys, any thoughts about Logos or CMI?
CMI is my go-to website. When I have a specific question about a creation science topic, I can usually find the answer there pretty quickly. CMI generally has it faster than I can find it in the AIG. Well, the AIG probably has it too, but I have to work harder to get it.
No, but again, these are resources that are there that most people don't even know exist.
Right.
And we want them. You're listening to Believing the Bible. This is Scott Lane with Terry Reed, Dr. Ken Harris, Dr. Carl Williams, and Jeremiah Rosenthal. If you would like to learn more, go to sabsa.org. That is SABBSA.org. A professional group that's been around now for some period of time is the Creation Research Society, known as CRS. They are available at creationresearch.org. If you get membership with them, you can get a CRS quarterly, collaborate with other researchers, get a Creation Matters publication, and they have a CRS annual conference, which this year will be July 30 through August 1 in Pensacola, Florida. They have speakers, Dr. Joel Brown and Dr. Danny Faulkner, who is also associated with AIG. David Reeves Ministry is one that has really come to the fore in the last 20 years. They're at davidreevesministries.org. Now, when I say Reeves, that's spelled R-I-V-E-S. They have a Wonder Center now in Dickinson, Tennessee, which is about 100,000 square foot mall is what it is, a mall that they converted to a creation museum. And I'm really impressed. It is almost up to par with what Answers in Genesis have and with what ICR has in Dallas. They also have a Creation Club magazine. I believe that, Terry, you have written for that Creation Club magazine at times.
Yeah, I've had a few articles published there.
They have what they call their Creation Superstore. It's a superstore close to my heart because they actually carry my book. But they also have their Creation Club, a Genesis Science Network. They have a streaming setup in which they are streaming a whole lot of programming. And again, that's 30 miles west of Nashville off I-40. Search for the Truth Ministries is one of our favorites at SABSA because of a long collaboration with Bruce Malone and that group. They have the Rocks Cry Out series, which is a great teaching session. In point of fact, we are just about ready to go through our 20th set of that teaching session. They have a store. In that store, they have most of the books that Bruce has done over the years, but they also have a wide variety of creation devotionals, 365-day devotionals with one page of creation science attached to Scripture. They're great. They are great devotionals. And of course, this is the organization which may have a greatest international impact at this point because they are regularly making trips to Fiji, the Philippines, Vanuatu, Peru, across the world, and have spread more than 250,000 of their creation science devotionals to school children all over the world. A lot of people don't know that there's something called the Northwest Creation Network. They have shared files, what they call a creation wiki, which is an encyclopedia of creation science. You can sign on and see what they have at nwcreation.net. That's the northwestcreation.net. There are a lot of minor people that you could go to, or small organizations like Spike Basaris at creationastronomy.com, which has great videos on our solar system, our galaxy, and our universe. But we want to get in very quickly to 3 groups, 1 on the margin and 2 to be aware of. On the margin is the Discovery Institute. They're at discovery.org. They are an intelligent design group. I find that they give us great articles on biology and things which show that evolution is just not a fact of science. However, they are an old Earth group, not stated, but have a bent there. And so you have to be careful with what you read out of Discovery Institute. Now that we've gone on to the dark side, there's Reasons to Believe. Reasons Believed, run by Dr. Hugh Ross, is a group that sadly twists Scripture badly to try and fit the Bible into a 4.5 billion-year-old Earth and a 13.8 billion-year-old universe. Not everything that they put out is negative. The biology stuff that they have from their second in command, Dr. Fuz Rana, I find to be very useful. But what Ross does with astronomy and biblical history is very troubling, and you get a lot of trouble with that. And probably the darkest of the dark side is BioLogos, an old Earth group which was created by Dr. Francis Collins. And they have very compromised theology in which they basically say that all of Scripture is just allegorical and not to be trusted. I hope that this gave you an insight into all the things that are available out there to you in creation science.
Information for creation events in our area are on our website's calendar page. For more information or to schedule a presentation, go to sabsa.org or call 210-599-7240. When you go to our website, you can click on a link to our newsletter. Our website has a link for contact information on which you can order our newsletter to be emailed to you, or you can call us. Also go to whyshouldyoubelieve.com. That is Terry's website containing articles looking at current day issues from a biblical perspective. SABSA meets the second Tuesday of each month at 7 p.m. We are now meeting at Faith Lutheran Church, just south of the corner of Jones Maltzberger and Thousand Oaks. There you will find biblical apologetics and creation science teaching found nowhere else in Bexar County, as well as the availability of books and videos on these important subjects. If you missed any part of this show, you can listen to the show anytime by going to the AM 630 KSLR, the Word in South Texas website. Click on KSLR Podcast, scroll down until you find Believing the Bible. Please join us again next Saturday for Believing the Bible. I'm Scott Lane, and for Terry Reed, Dr. Carl Williams, and Ed Salzwell, thanks for listening, and we hope you found today a reason to believe the Bible.